Hello, crafty friends, and welcome back. Today I'm playing along with May I Scraplift You, and since I'm still playing catch up, today I'm playing along with day 11, which was Jenny K, and day 12, which was Bangs and Glasses. And I will have those, each of their accounts listed down below that you can go click on their YouTube and Instagram pages and see if you can find some inspiration yourself there. So, I am still, this is my third and last layout of our hiking pictures from last summer. And let's see. So, this is just two individual pictures, one of Joe holding up a tree, and then me as we were just finishing up the last trail of the day there. So I, the background, I wanted to make sure that I had a light color, and I had not used any of the blue color on the two previous layouts, at least not prominently. And so for this one, I did want to make sure that I did get some of that blue. So there I'm showing you that, of course, I live in Iowa, and where we were hiking was in eastern Iowa. And so the paper from this collection actually had this map print, and there on the edge was actually the state of Iowa. So I decided to fussy cut it, and I'm going to use this as one of my embellishments in my clusters here. And so I'm going to use one of the enamel dots and put it approximately where the state park was on the map. So I thought that was kind of a fun touch here, but really, so from here on out, you're going to kind of watch me fiddle around with everything else. Um, with my embellishments here, trying to rip the paper and get the white edge to show up how I wanted it to. And so the two brown pieces of paper, those were scraps from the previous two layouts, and so I got a little bit of that on each layout. And then, so I'm kind of just building little shelves for each of my pictures to sit on. And then I'm going to build my clusters out from there. So, as you can see in the inspiration pieces in, I believe in Jenny K's, her layout, well, both of them actually were very similar, that they had the two pictures and just added embellishments around each one. So each of them kind of gave a similar feel to them, and that is where I went with this. So here I did decide to do some inking on my background to try and give some texture, and I'm going to use some of the Vicky Bouton Irresistible rub-ons from 49 and Market. So before I put those down, I do decide to glue each of the top cluster and the bottom cluster down with each of the layers, so then I know good placement for my rub-ons to make sure that they don't get hidden behind each of those clusters. So I kind of backtrack a little bit and start to put some of my layers down. Well, not down to the background, but I do start to put them at least attaching each of the layers to each other, so then I can move them all around as one large piece. So I do use that large journaling piece there, and I did decide to move that fussy cut Iowa shape down to the bottom cluster here. And so now I'm going to get my shelf added to my picture, so my cluster is getting bigger. And that sticker I won't put down till the very end, but I do want to make sure that I leave enough room for that area. And I think I started to say this earlier, that I did definitely wanted to use this yellow background piece of paper because I wanted to use these two stickers that I actually received from a friend. I believe those were from Arden Creative, I think. I don't think those were 49 a Market. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure they were Art and Creative, and came in this really long roll. And so I was lucky enough to be at a scrapbook retreat where one of my table mates had purchased this long, or this, the tapes that come in there. And so she shared a few of them with me. And so I wanted to make sure to get those used here on this layout because they looked really good with this collection. So let's see. So now I am working on the top cluster, and I'm going to go ahead and get everything put down together here just like I did on the lower one. And so here I only put half of the title on because the other half is going to hang off. So first of all, before I stick it, half of it down, I am going to do a little inking. Then I get that half down, and then I put the sticker backing back on the other half of the exposed sticker until I'm ready to stick the whole thing down. So now that I have the two clusters, I am going to, I've gone and cut out the pieces of the irresistible rub-ons that I want to have in the background. And so now I've got this first one on, and then I keep bringing my cluster in and testing where I want everything to be here. So I get these first two down and I have zero issues whatsoever. And I don't know if I had something on my hand or if there was some glue or something on the paper, but when I go to put down this next rub-on, it would not stick to the paper. So I don't know, I was a little sad because it was these, I guess I would call them like maybe dandelion looking ones. And they kind of went with the daisies there. But for whatever reason, I worked and I worked and I worked and I worked, and I could not get them to stick to the paper. So I finally gave up, just pull up the rub-on, and whatever stuck, I just went ahead and left there. And so really to kind of cover up that incomplete rub-on there, that I do come in with some laser cuts here later on at the end. So now is kind of where the magic starts to happen, that I took my ink, and let's see, which one did I use? I ended up using Scattered Straw and using my blending brushes. And so now I'm just going to add like a haze around my entire cluster, and then over the top of each of the rub-ons as well to help those really pop off the page there. So we get the ink down, and hopefully I don't make you watch all of this, but then all right, so the inking is done. I've got all my rub-ons on, and so now I'm sticking down my layers to the paper. And once I get, oh, and I have the two clear stickers down as well. So I'm kind of testing with my T-square ruler to make sure that they are both on straight. And I do come in and add a little bit of ink to a few different places. There I'm showing you it is Scattered Straw. And even I couldn't get that piece of adhesive to stick down as well. So I don't know what's going on with that side of the page, but yeah, I eventually made it work. So here is where I went in, and these are actually from, I think the yellow flowers I pulled out are from Toddler Time, and then just a few miscellaneous leaves from older collections that I still had. And do go in and add a few more of the foam stickers. Let's see, that one says hike more, worry less. Of course, I've got my two title pieces that say explore, discover, and I was going to use an ampersand, but really I thought it just kind of stood just fine on its own as well. So I do add a couple of butterflies in, and I'm testing out possibly some mushrooms, couple hearts, just scattering some things around. And let's see, and here's about, I think I decided not to put any of the adhesive brads on here. And so I think I'm done. And then I'm like, oh, well, I kind of want to add some more blue in there. But then I decide to come in with this ink here. And every time I use this ink, for whatever reason, this spray nozzle does not want to flick off the ink. So really I just end up randomly just touching the edge of the nozzle there to the paper and kind of manually do it myself. So I didn't love it, but it was fun. So then I decide, okay, I wanted to use this blue paper somehow as a mat, and ultimately I decide to just cut a wonky random bit off of each of the four sides, and it's nothing significant, which is why I ended up gutting the blue paper. So um, if I decide to use some of that on a different layout, that I have that. But yeah, and then I go through and I distress each of the edges, and then I'm gonna mat it with that blue mat there. And it's just a subtle touch, but I actually like how it turned out and brought that blue into the whole thing. Oh, and I do rub each of the distress edges with the ink pad here. So get that done, and then I stick it to the background, and that is pretty much going to do it. So the close-up shots are coming here shortly, and I will have links to the playlist as well as links to Facebook, or not Facebook, the YouTube channels for both Jenny K and Bangs and Glasses, as well as their Instagram if it's available. So thank you for stopping by, and we will see you next time. Bye.